From a ship finally setting sail after weeks of chaos to a cruise line making a bold move in a high-risk destination, and even a surprising change to late-night eats on board, this week's Cruise News updates are full of twists, and let's dive in. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. We have to start this week's news out with an update. The Regal Princess is back! After canceling multiple cruises, all at the last minute, Princess Cruises has come out and said that the necessary repairs are completed and the ship is scheduled to depart from Galveston on November 17th, kicking off a cruise to the Western Caribbean. In a statement, the line said, "We are pleased to share that essential repairs on the ship have been successfully completed and we are ready to welcome you aboard for your voyage." Well, for the last 3 weeks, we have talked about the last-minute cancellations as the line hoped repairs would be completed before the scheduled sailings, but then had to notify guests that the ship still needed repairs. This will be the ship's first sailing out of Galveston after a repositioning transatlantic cruise. I love a good story of a rescue at sea. I hope you do too. Royal Caribbean's Voyager of the Seas rescued a family off the coast of Morocco on Friday while on its transatlantic journey. The sailboat had lost its mast as well as power to its engines, leaving them and their dog stranded. Crew rescued the family from the boat, and engineers from Voyager attempted to repair the sailboat's engines, but without success. Passenger Roberto Basquilla Jr. posted a photo of the rescue on X, saying that the ship diverted to rescue a family of 2 adults, 2 minors, and a dog who were stranded with a broken sail and a stalled engine. Everyone on board is safe, but they had to leave the boat behind. So this week, we saw a Spirit Airlines plane shot at while preparing to land at the airport in Haiti, injuring a flight attendant. Now, despite this recent violence, Royal Caribbean has decided to continue sailing to Haiti despite the FFA and United Nations suspending flights to Haiti due to the growing conflict. It was only in early October that the line resumed their stops at their private destination in Labadee, Haiti. In a statement to NBC in Miami, a spokesperson for the cruise line said, "The safety and security of our guests, crew, and communities we visit are our top priority. Our global security and intelligence team continuously monitors the situation in Haiti." Now, Labadee is located on the north of the island, while most of the unrest is in the capital, Port-au-Prince, which is located further south. The line has made one concession and is limiting excursions outside their private destination, which is fenced and maintains its own security. However, Celebrity Cruise Line's Royal Caribbean's sister line has removed all of their stops from Haiti from their sailings until June of 2025. Are you booked on any of the upcoming sailings to Labadee? If so, what are your thoughts? Will you feel safe getting off the ship? Let me know in the comments. So Carnival announced this week that anyone sailing to Panama on a round-trip cruise from the U.S. would now need a passport if they wanted to get off the ship in Panama. This isn't a Carnival thing. This is a Panama thing. Guests have been notified that to comply with guidelines for going ashore, all guests, including infants, must carry a passport book that is valid for at least 6 months after the cruise ends. Guests will be permitted to sail with other acceptable travel documentation, but they must remain on board when the ship visits Panama. Now, requiring a passport has been the case for a few Panama sailings already, as several of those already stopped in Colombia as well, which already requires passports in order to sail there. However, it seems that some people missed the memo. Why can't you or why can't Carnival make it clear and easy to understand? Do we need a passport on a cruise that goes to Colombia? Carnival Dream 1426. Many of us on whatever Facebook page are angry, and this has not been clarified. Get your head in the game, John. This is important. Well, that was rude. I don't understand why people can't be polite when asking John Heald questions, but as per usual, he handled it well. Yes, indeed, the requirement is that the country of Colombia requires everyone on this cruise to have a passport. So you will need one when you check in, otherwise you're not going to be allowed on board. This is clearly written on our website, but I am happy to help as always. Sure he is. Not everyone was as polite as John in their comments, however. Strange, when I travel to foreign countries, I research the court requirements myself. I've never depended on an outside entity to tell me what they think I might need. Now that is very good advice, Don't rely on someone else to tell you. Look it up yourself and make sure you're going to that country's requirements. Check it out. The US also has a page that will tell you what you need to go and visit other countries. When we went to Colombia, it was crystal clear we needed a passport to board the ship. Now, I haven't been on a cruise stopping in Colombia, but I am sure that the line makes passengers well aware that passports are required. Regardless, this is a good time to pitch that everyone just get a passport. Yes, they take some effort and cost some money, but they last 10 years and are a safety net even if you are doing a closed-loop cruise out of a U.S. port. Traveling to a foreign country without a passport puts you at risk for a variety of headache-inducing scenarios should you miss the cruise ship, require emergency transportation back to the U.S., etc. You cannot board a flight from a foreign country back to the United States without a passport. If you miss the ship in Cozumel, for example, you'll have to travel to the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate and obtain a replacement passport. It's not an easy process. U.S. passport for an adult is $130, so that comes out to $13 a year. Not too bad when you think of it that way. So do you cruise with a passport or a birth certificate? I want to know what your choice is and why. Well, are you a fan of late night snacking while on cruising? Well, many people are. However, the choices late at night are few and far between. Many lines have gotten rid of the midnight buffet, and the only option is pizza. So for years, John Heald has fielded requests and comments about the line no longer offering that midnight buffet. Friday morning, John posted that Carnival will be offering late night snacks. Over the years, many of you have written and spoken to me about food options and the wait time for pizza when you're looking for a late night snack. After talking with the Beards at the mothership, I can share with you that we're expanding our late night eats. Now, around midnight, our fabulous team on Lido will take over from our wonderful pizza chefs as our service moves from the counter to the buffet line. You can find delicious pizza still, but also other options like chicken, tenders, hot dogs, sandwiches, cookies, and other desserts. 5 different menus were posted with different soup, sandwich, and salad selections, along with changes in the desserts. My assumption is that these menus will rotate throughout a cruise, with some items remaining as staples like the pizza, fries, chips, and salsa. Now, I do like to get a late night snack on occasion if I'm up watching the late dive-in movie, but I've never stayed up late enough to need a midnight snack. However, it must be a popular thing to do according to some of the comments I read. This is great news. We are night owls, and many times we swing by the pizza place after the casino only to find about 60 people in line. The midnight buffet usually has meatball subs, a sandwich with some kind of veggies, and chicken tenders with fries. Now, 60 people in line? I have never had to wait in line that long for pizza. I thought a wait behind 10 people was a lot. Apparently, if you're waiting till midnight, it was much worse. Of course, there were complaints. There always is. Some people will complain if you hang them with a new rope. The pizza at the late night buffet is really bad. I sure hope this doesn't mean that the pizza place is closing early now. Ugh. While John's post makes it sound like the pizzeria will close, in the comments, people said that they were on ships where the new midnight offering was already available, and the stories differed as to whether or not the pizza place was open or not. Now, I checked the daily question post that John put up and found the answer, and it will close at midnight. If the pizza served in the midnight buffet isn't up to the standards of the pizzeria, though, sounds like people won't be very happy. Now, do you stay up late enough while cruising to need a midnight snack? I had planned to discuss this last week, but then I forgot all about it, but I still wanted to bring this up since it is something that I have touched on before, one of my little pet peeves. In one of his polls last week, John Heald asked if the Serenity deck should remain 21 and over, or if those who serve in the military should be let in, even if they are underage. Now, this is not the first time this has been brought up, and personally, I think it's just another instance of age limits in the U.S. being inconsistent. In the U.S., 18-year-olds are supposedly adults, but you have to be 21 to drink or smoke. Many rental companies won't even rent to someone who is 21. It's like 26, 28. That's kind of fluctuates. Maybe it's time that we need to raise the age of maturity to 21 or lower everything else down to 18. However, it wasn't that long ago that we raised the smoking age up to 21. It just doesn't make sense for an adult to still be too young to purchase certain items. So if they're too young to purchase items, maybe they're not an adult yet. Either way, the comments in this post took an entirely different turn towards how loud people get in the Serenity area, which is something I have discussed before. So one commenter said, honestly, I don't really care how old people are on the Serenity deck. What I do wish is that anyone being loud and noisy would be asked to leave, no matter their age. Want to sing, shout, and carry on? Great. There's all sorts of spaces on board where that's allowed and encouraged. But on Serenity, please, shh. Thank you. Now, with over 300 likes, it is obvious that this is a fairly popular point of view. It really wasn't that long ago, maybe a month ago, that this was just brought up and we discussed it. So one person responded to the comment by saying, the problem is people on cruise ships think they own the ship and rules don't apply to them. It's not a private yacht. There are still rules and an expectation of courtesy to fellow passengers. If you want to be loud, you can go to the main pool areas. Serenity is supposed to be chill and relaxing. That's why it's adults only. But unfortunately, acting adult is subjective. I really like that one because I'm telling you, I'm going to talk about it, but I had an incident on the Jubilee. Another said, I was on Serenity deck last summer and folks actually came with a radio and sat it next to the pool and began playing music and darn near made it a party. Needless to say, it was no longer serene. Now, of course, not everyone agreed. It wouldn't be a problem if they did. The library is open for quiet time. Serenity is for adults, and if we want to talk or sing, oh well, we will. If you want to sit in complete silence, go to your cabin or the library. But, okay, I love this guy because he came right back, clapped right back with a solid response. Nope, most ships have no library anymore. It's in the name of the place, Serenity, meaning serene. Main pool areas are for music, singing, dancing, and whooping it up. Then, when you want to chill for a while, go to Serenity for a more calm and muted experience. Luckily, most people are polite enough to respect this, but there's always a few. Now, you can probably guess what camp I'm in, even if you haven't heard me talk about this before. Let me start with this. Serenity is a noun, meaning the quality or state of being serene. Clearness, calmness, quietness, stillness, peace. Similar words include quietness, stillness, peace. Now, I have come across the random small group of friends in the Serenity area who may have had too much to drink or just don't care that their conversation is louder than everyone around them. However, on the Jubilee, it was a whole other story. Now, at times, it was like a party. I came to the conclusion that this had a lot to do with the fact that there's a pool area next to the bar. Sometime after noon, when people started waking up, it seemed to attract a lot of loud drinkers. The rest of the Serenity area didn't seem to have that issue. Well, of course, we had set up near the pool area that morning when it had been quiet. We were enjoying some time relaxing and reading. And then unfortunately, when the party started, there's no open deck chairs or lounges left anywhere else in the other parts of the Serenity area. You either stay and deal with the noise, or you just leave and go where? Maybe to your cabin, because there's no library on the Jubilee.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
Now let me know your thoughts. Should guests expect an area called the Serenity area to remain relatively quiet, or is there no expectation of quiet on a cruise ship? Let me know. So I have a question for you this week. It's cruise related, but also very personal to me. Do any of you who work have issues scheduling vacation time to cruise? Now, I like to book my cruises 2 years out, or at least as soon as the cruise becomes available to book. That gives me better options when it comes to choosing our cabin. Plus, it's usually the cheapest you're ever going to find a cruise, unless for some reason they have open cabins a month before they sail and they're trying to fill it. Recently, my work started a vacation pick schedule, which is driving me nuts. The 2025 schedule didn't come out until the 1st of this month. But, of course, I have had a cruise booked for the end of January for 2 years now. So I had to wait until November, after I already had to have the cruise paid for, to know if I was actually going to be able to get time to go on the cruise. So when I booked my cruise, my big 2026 birthday cruise, I ended up paying extra for travel insurance that allows you to cancel if you have to work, because I can no longer guarantee that I will get the time off, since only 2 people can ask off at the same time, and I'm halfway down the list in seniority of when you get to pick. So there's definitely a chance that 2 people could choose the days I need off. It's unlikely, but it's not impossible, especially since I often cruise the same week that one of my coworkers has a birthday, and she likes to take vacation during her birthday week. Thankfully, she's above me on the list, but thankfully this year she didn't choose that as her first pick, so that time was open. The problem is that when I go to book a cruise, I always look at a couple of months, and then I pick the itinerary I want that's on the cheapest week. So for some reason, it almost always ends up being the last week in January, which coincides with their birthday. But I'm going to try to not do that anymore, just in case for future problems. And while my supervisors say that they will do their best to make sure I get off when I need to, I'm not sure what would happen if I couldn't get a week I needed for a cruise that was already booked and paid for. I spent the last 2 weeks on pins and needles waiting to see if the days I needed would still be available. What would happen if they weren't? Are they going to be like, well, this person who's above you, we're gonna ask them if they will change their vacation? Thankfully, like I said, the days were open. But I want to know if you have ever had any issues getting off work for a cruise, especially if you book way in advance. My week was pretty normal, not a lot happened. We did go watch the best Christmas pageant ever the other night. It was really cute and very faithful to the book. My family really liked it, so I would recommend it to anyone looking for a good family movie. I do plan on dragging out the Christmas tubs this week and start working on putting my decorations up. That's why you see this new setup here. This is normally in my dining area, but I have to move it out so I can move my dining table so I have a place for my Christmas tree. So I always move it out and put it in a different room, and I thought this year I'm going to stick it in here for a while. Thanksgiving is late this year, so there isn't a lot of time between Thanksgiving and Christmas to enjoy all those decorations that I spend so much time putting up. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this week. I don't think it'll get done this weekend for sure. I got other things to do. Besides, as I have said before, I have decided to start decorating when it feels like fall is over instead of waiting until after Thanksgiving. The question is if I will have the time and energy to put up any outside lights. And it may be too cold to want to mess with it at this point. I should have done it a couple weeks ago. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why not stick around and check out this video and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.